And today, we are going to have a vlog about the Philippine literature, the Spanish period.
Let's start!
The Spanish colonization of the Philippines began in 1565 under Miguel Lopez de Legazpi, the first Spanish governor-general. Literature flourished during that time, and the colonization continued until the Cavite Revolt in 1872. Filipinos embraced Catholicism, changed names and lifestyles, built houses, used carriages, and held fiestas. This period led to the formation of different social classes and the completion of various courses. Miguel Lopez de Legazpi was the one who behind the expedition that established the first Spanish settlement in Cebu in 1565. Also, during these times, many changes occurred in the lives of every Filipinos. They embraced the Catholic religion, changed their names, and were baptized. Their lifestyle changed too. They built houses made of stones and bricks, and beautiful furniture like the piano and used kitchen utensils. Also, this gave the rise to the formation of different classes in society, such as rich and landlords. And some Filipinos finished courses like medicine, law, agriculture, and teaching because many schools already had been established during this period.
My topic today is about Spanish influence on Philippine literature. I have two topics about Spanish influence. Number one is alibata. Alibata was the term used in the past to refer to the Philippine pre-Spanish writing system, specific by baybayin, while the term was coined in 1914 by Paul Rodriguez Versosa. It's now considered incorrect, and baybayin is the correct term. So yun nga, ang alibata ay dala ng mga Espanyol na akala natin siyang unang salita o letra sa ating Pilipinas. Mali pala. Pinatunayan ni Paul Rodriguez Versosa na hindi alibata ang unang salita natin, kundi baybayin. Ang alibata pala ay galing sa salitang Arabic. Which totoo naman na dinala siya ng mga Espanyol para pag-aralan natin. Ngunit nadiskubre ng mga eksperto na noong 1565 baybayin pala ang totoo nating salita o una nating napag-aralan na panahon. And ang pangalawa naman ay Christiana Doctrine, refers the core teachings and belief of the Christian faith of based on the Bible. So ang pangalawa naman nilang dinala dito sa tinuro nila sa Pilipino ay mga Biblia o beliefs sa Diyos. Tinuruan nila tayo kung paano manampalataya at kung paano magdasal. At dito rin natin nalaman na ang buhay, dito natin nalaman na may Diyos pala. At ngayon, hanggang ngayon, dala-dala pa rin natin ang impluwensya ng Kastila.
The first book printed in the Philippines in 1953 was ang Doctrina Christiana by Father Juan de Plasencia and Father Domingo Nicua. Written in Tagalog and Spanish, it contains the Pater Noster, Q. Maria, Regina Coeli, the Ten Commandments of God, the Commandment of God, the Catholic Church, the Seven Mortal Sins, how to confess in Catholicism, the second book is Nostria Senora del Rosario, contains biographies of saints and questions on religion. The first book printed in typography was Libro de los Castro, Prostepremares de Hombre. The Passion is a book about Jesus Christ, life and sufferings, has 4 versions in Tagalog, each with its own writer's name.
Literary composition. The text contains several important works on Tagalog language, including the first Tagalog dictionary, the first Pampanga vocabulary, the best Visayan vocabulary book, the first Ilocano grammar book, and the first Bicol language book. These works were written by various authors, including Father Blancas de San Jose, Gaspar de San Agustin, Pedro de San Buenaventura, and Francisco Lopez. So sinasabi dito, ang mga komposisyong pampanitikan sa wikang Tagalog ay tumutukoy sa mga mahalagang libro at diksyonaryo na tumutulong sa pagbuo at pag-unlad ng mga wika sa Pilipinas. Halimbawa, unang diksyonaryo ng Tagalog, isang libro na naglalaman ng mga salita at kahulugan sa wikang Tagalog. Pangalawang halimbawa, unang libro sa Bararila ng Ilocano, isang libro na nagtuturo ng mga patakaran sa pagbuo ng mga pangungusap sa wikang Ilocano. Ang mga libro at diksyonaryo na ito ay sinulat ng mga kakilakilalang may akda tulad ni na Father Blancas de San Jose at Francisco Lopez.
Folk songs. Folk song became widespread in the Philippines. Each region had its national song, from the lowlands to the mountain of Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Folk songs truly manifest the artistic feelings of the Filipinos. They show the Filipinos' innate appreciation for and love of the beauty. And now, here is an example of folk song. Number 1. Leron-Leron Sinta. Ang Leron-Leron Sinta ay kanta na may kasamang aral at karaniwang ginagamit sa mga laro at sayaw. Number 2. Pamulinawin. Ang pamulinawin ay isang awit ng pag-ibig na nagpapahayag ng panliligaw ng isang lalaki sa matigas na puso ng isang babae. Number 3. Dandansoy. Ang dandansoy naman ay isang awit na pamamaalam kung saan ang nagsasalita ay umaalis sa kanyang minamahal upang bumalik sa kanilang bayan. Number 4. Sarumbanggi. Ang sarumbanggi naman ay isang awit ng pag-ibig na isinlarawan ang tahimik at romantikong gabi nang marinig ng isang tao ang matamis na tinig ng minamahal. And the last one is Ating Kopong Singsing. Ang Ating Kopong Singsing naman ay isang awit tungkol sa isang nawawalang singsing na may sentimental na halaga at nagpapahiwatig ng pag-ibig at pangungulila.
Spanish times, Filipino performed recreational plays and poetic forms such as Tibag, a ritual where Santa Helena researched for the cross on which Jesus died. This thematic performance held during May time. Festivals involves digging on mounds and a dialogue. Lagaylay is a special occasion for Pilareños of Sorsogon, where participating ladies are chosen to honor and bless cross. Snakulu is a dramatic performance commemorating Jesus' passion and death, with 2 types, Canada and Hablada. The Hablada is moved, dignified, and has more deliberate at rhythm measure.
Recreational plays. The Panunuluyan is in a Christian Eve presentation that tells the story of Virgin Mary and Saint Joseph researching for an end to deliver Jesus. Ang Panunuluyan ay isang dramatikong presentasyon na naglalarawan sa paghahanap ni San Jose at Birheng Maria ng matutuluyan sa Bethlehem bago ang kapanganakan ni Jesus. Karaniwan ito ay ginagawa sa Desperas ng Pasko. Ang prosesyon ay nagsisimula sa simbahan kung saan ang mga imahe ni na San Jose at Birheng Maria ay dinadala sa iba't ibang bahay habang umaawit ang mga tao ng mga panalangin na humihingi ng tuluyan. Sa huli, sila ay tinatanggap sa simbahan kung saan nagaganap ang Misa de la Gallo. Matthay's the meeting of the risen Christ and His Mother involves two processions, one with the men carrying Christ and the other with women carrying the Virgin. The processions consummate under a flower-like canopy, with the girl dressed as an angel wearing the virgin veil and showering her with flowers. Ito ay merong 5 proseso o sinasagawa ang pagsalubong. Una ay sinasagawa ang salubong tuwing madaling araw ng linggo ng pagkabuhay. At ang pangalawa naman ay 2 prosesyon ang nagsasama sa salubong. Ang isa ay may dalang imahe ni Kristo at ang isa naman ay may dalang imahe ni Maria. At ang pangatlo naman ay patapos magtagpo ang 2 prosesyon, inaalis ang belo ni Maria na sumisimbolo sa pagwakas ng kalungkutan at pagsisimula ng kagalakan. At ang pang-apat naman ay maraming tao ang dumadalo sa salubong upang manalangin at magdiwang. At ang panghuli ay ang pagsalubong ay isang magandang halimbawa ng pananampalataya at debosyon ng mga Pilipino.
Zarzuela. Isa itong uri ng dulang, musika o melodrama na may 3 yugto. Tinatawag itong ama ng dula dahil sa mahalagang papel nito sa kasaysayan at ng teatro. May karaniwang tampok ang zarzuela ng mga emosyonal na may tema gaya ng pag-ibig, hinanakit at iba pang damdamin. May halong awitin ang pagsasalita at may madalas na dramatiko ang paghahalahad. Ang serenade naman ay isang maikling dula na may temang nakakatawa o magaan, musikang may komedya. Naging popular noong 18 siglo, karaniwan nagpapakita ng mga pang-araw-araw na buhay ng mga karaniwang tao o nasa mahabang antas ng lipunan. Madalas ay ginaganap ito bilang magpapasaya sa mga manonood. Sa madaling salita, ang pareho silang uri ng panlibangang dula. Ngunit ang zarzuela ay mas seryoso at samantalang ang serenade naman ay maikli at nakakatuon ang katatawanan.
The Moro is a Christianity religious ritual performed during town festas to entertain and remind people of their faith. It involves a Christian princess or nobleman's daughter being captured by Mohammedans who are eventually converted to Christianity. For example, romantic subplots, love stories between characters from opposing sides often add complexity to the narrative. Next is supernatural elements. Giants, mythical creatures, and even angels and devils might be included, enhancing the spectacle. And last is Triumph of Christianity. Historically, the plays usually included with the Christianity victory reflecting the Spanish colonial context in which they originated. This aspect has been criticized by some historians for its potential to reinforce negative about Muslim Filipinos.
Reactional plays. The awit and choreography used those interpretable because the
distinction is not clear. Sinasaad dito na ang awit at peryodo ay nagpapalit ng mga tao na, na, nang walang kamalay-malay sapagkat hindi ganoon kalinaw ang pagkakaiba ng dalawa. Pero mayroong paraan para ma-distinguish natin ang pagkakaiba ng dalawa. For purposes and compassion, we distinguish the two this way. The periodo is in octosylastic verse, while the awit is dodecastic verse. Para malaman natin ang pagkakaiba ng dalawa, nag-compose ito na 8 verse. Ang periodo ay may compose na 8 verse, samantalang ang awit naman ay dodecastic. At kapag sinabing dodecastic, ito ay binubuo ng 12 syllables. The periodos were usually on alleged stories from European countries like France, Spain, Italy, and Greece.
The awit are fabricated stories from writers' imagination, although the setting and characters are European. So, as stated, ang awit ay fabricated or gawa-gawa lang na storya galing sa isip or imahinasyon ng manunulat. Although ang lugar at mga tauhan nito ay based sa Europe or mga European. Meanwhile, the corridor refers to narration, whilst the awit refers to chanting. Ang corridor ay tumutukoy sa narration, and kapag sinabi nating narration, ito yung paraan ng pag-storytelling na straight voice lang, walang emosyon or kung ano man. Kumbagay, ito yung straight na pagbabasa lang ng text. Whereas yung awit naman ay chanting, and kapag sinabi nating chanting ay ito yung paraan ng pagsasalita ng mga bagay na may rhythmic pattern, and through chanting, nakakaramdam din ng unity yung ibang nakakarinig nito. The corrido and awit are both referred to as narrative poetry. An example of awit is Florante at Laura by Francisco Balagtas.